Coming up on today's edition of the Art Marketing Podcast, why your art isn't selling on Instagram, and it's not what you think. Specifically, Instagram remains the most important social media platform for artists. With a proper Instagram strategy, a link in your bio to a proper art selling website, and the ability to transact, you can absolutely kill it this holiday season if you stop ignoring the rules. All right, so this pod is a bit of an audible, actually. I didn't plan on dropping this thing actually today, but I had some things pop up this week so far and over the course of the morning that made me realize, I got to get it in the can and get it released today. Sometimes you just have to do that. So first, as we sit here in August 2025, okay, the Art Storefront's Instagram account is at 163,000 followers. It's taken us a good 8 years to get there, with an account shut down somewhere in there in the COVID times, and we had to switch handles and the whole thing. But I bring this up not to power flex, but Instagram, you guys, is such a valuable marketing channel for us. It has never been more effective and has never delivered more results for us. Okay. When I wrote this was yesterday. Last week, I did a podcast interview with the new photographer. His name's Court Whelan. If you've not listened to it, you should. Thought it was super insightful. Really enjoyed interviewing him. The promotion of that aside, previous episode, I believe, is I often do these interviews, right? And in staying true to my roots as someone that, has long advocated and lobbied and barked at you guys about this amazing ability to be able to do live broadcasts, right? And be able to do live broadcasts on both Instagram and, Facebook, Twitter. I do them on all of them now, YouTube. So anyway, why am I saying that? I streamed his interview live on Instagram, okay? And I do this all the time for podcasts because I'm a marketer and I want to get the most ROI out of my time possible. And I'm going to record the episode anyway, so why wouldn't I stream it too, right? Now, even with our good-sized account of, we're at 163,000 followers on there, I think, there were probably only 10 to 15, maybe it was 10 to 25 people online at any given time. But the interview was an hour. And that interview likely reached an estimated 500 to 750 people, or even just 500 people on Instagram alone. We won't even talk about the other platforms. But that was an extra 500 people that I reached as a result of doing that live on Instagram. And then later in the day, I re-aired it. And, it occurred to me is I was eating my lunch earlier and, I was watching YouTube, and YouTube decided it was time to show me a video of a busker. A busker is like what the Europeans call them, but somebody playing music in a public place, right? And it was a video of this busker playing the Sultans of Swing guitar solo. He was so good, he nailed it. I love that song, so of course I've got to watch it. All-time great solo. And it was just watching this guy busk, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's absolutely what the live streaming is. You show up, okay. In the live streaming case, you show up to your computer, you show up to your phone, you turn it on, and you start doing your thing. In the in-person busking example, you show up at a city center, or you show up at a mall or a busy street corner or whatever. And what do? You start doing your thing. In most cases, the busking is like playing music, right? Or maybe you're a mime, or maybe you're juggling, or whatever the heck it is you're doing, right? And as you start doing your thing, no different than the live streaming, the minute you start, because you picked a location where people are walking around, you have instant attention, right? Instantaneously, people are seeing what you're doing. And no different than the live streaming on Instagram is some people will come by, right? They'll look at you for a second. They'll be like, okay, whatever. And they'll keep moving. Some people will linger for a few minutes and be like, that's a really cool song, but I'm busy. I got to get back about my day. Some people will hang out for your entire set and maybe even put a couple of bucks in the tip jar. Some people will stay for the whole time, meet you afterwards, and even buy one of your CDs. Or CDs still things, by the way. Do they sell those? I don't even know what they do. Anyway, where I'm going with that is both Instagram and live streaming, for that matter, they're amazingly, amazingly effective, okay? And I was going to do that podcast interview last week anyway, so why not do it live? I did it, and as a result, I got additional ROI on my time, additional ROI on Court's time. More people learned about him, more people learned about Art Storefronts, and a bunch of people that might not have been podcast subscribers got to see a portion of the interview. They might not even know I had a podcast, but then they popped in, they saw a little bit. They're like, how do I get the rest of it, right? And so when I opened up my computer the next morning, and I have a point of all of this getting back to Instagram. When I opened up my computer the next morning, I had an email from Cord. He's like, dude, thanks so much. It was great. You know, all the pleasantries. I've gotten a ton of feedback on Instagram, right? And I read through that quickly and I was like, okay, that's awesome. And then essentially just kept going about my day. Next, I had to contemplate what additional content I was going to create to get you guys ready for Q4. And every year around August, September, it's my job to get laser focused on content creation, on how to broadcast that content, on how to distribute it to get all of our customers ready and in the right mindset for the upcoming buying season, right? Like the last 5 episodes of this podcast, everything you see on Instagram is all about just get ready, because Q4 comes along once a year. It's here. We got to get ready to go, right? And no different for me and my job. It's the same for you guys in your job, right? You know, like everything that I advocate you guys do, I got to do myself. And in your guys' case, what am I telling you to do? These next couple of months are when you come off the gas of creating your art, okay, of your craft, of creating your photography. You've got to come off the gas a little bit, and you have to invest some additional time in getting the word out that you are an artist, you are a photographer, you exist, okay? And for me, it means I got to come out of the AI rabbit hole. I can't go working on the projects that I want to work on. And instead, I've got to bang the drum everywhere and put out more podcast episodes and more Instagram live broadcasts and everything else. So we're in the same boat, okay? We're in the same boat here in this entire scenario. And next morning, whatever it was last week, I cooked up an Instagram live on how important your lineup is ahead of Q4. It was a good one. I will include that in the show notes. But as I've been doing all of these broadcasts this week and like really getting back into the swing of things and putting out way more content than I ever have, I've just been reflecting on how powerful this platform is, both for us at Art Storefronts as a brand, trying to hawk our software, and for you guys as artists, trying to get attention on your creations, okay? And one of the things that I realized is about how way too often creatives, okay, yes, I'm pointing the cannon at you, just post business stuff, okay? You guys just post your art. You just post your process. And what do I always say? The artist loves hiding behind the canvas. The photographer loves hiding behind the lens. And as I got to thinking about that, it kind of sent me in a couple of different directions. So first, what I did is I checked Reddit, okay? And some of you guys know what Reddit is. Some of you don't. It doesn't really matter, but it's this social media site. It's essentially a social media site. It's like a giant forum site, right? And it's been around like a long time now, okay? A long time. And the individual interests on them are called subreddits, okay? And there are subreddits for like everything imaginable. And there's one that I check all the time, and I was supposed to have this up so I could read it. I'm pulling it up right now, called Art Business, okay? And in the art business, I think they have like 104,000 members in here. I kind of like checking it out from time to time and using it as like a sounding board, kind of just to get the zeitgeist, the water cooler talk about, you know, what are artists asking questions about? Because like, what's the whole point of this podcast? It's like art business, right? Anyway, during the course of all of this, I'm like, I'm gonna go just pop in, see what's going on in terms of posting on Reddit, right? Or posting on Instagram. And I quickly scanned some of these headlines, right? And I'm just going to read a smattering of them. You could do the same thing. You go to reddit.com/r/artbusiness and type in Instagram in the search handle. Are we using, these are titles to the post. Are we using Instagram the wrong way? I spent 1 year trying to grow Instagram. Here's what I learned. Tips from my experience with Instagram. Confused how Instagram is handling my art account. What are you going to do when AI takes over Instagram? I want to start posting on Instagram again because it's never worked. What Instagram pages actually promote artists who paint? Instagram engagement is 100% behind a paywall. Is Instagram still valuable for the artist? How important is Instagram really? Now that Instagram and Twitter are out, where should we be going? Is Instagram worth it anymore? Should I pursue Instagram? Why no one likes my post on Instagram? Is Instagram a must social media for artists? Other social medias for illustrators? And it's on and on and on and on. My Instagram is cursed. Absolutely no reach on Instagram. Should I ditch Instagram? It's just, it's a laundry list, you guys, of these posts just complaining and talking about how it absolutely doesn't work and the reach is down and it's not a great thing for artists and you shouldn't be doing this. And I read these headlines, you guys, and it breaks my heart. It absolutely breaks my heart. If there was an aspiring artist or photographer or creator that was just going to be getting started and they're like, oh, let me go check out Art Business, you would read all of those headlines and you would come away with saying, geez, I don't even know if I need to be on Instagram at all based on this, the most important platform there is. And it kills me. And it absolutely kills me. It's like all of the guys that are the artists that are in there posting that and me are all in the same movie theater, but we're watching two different movies. I'm sitting here going, my goodness. I've been on Instagram since its inception. I've been a marketer on Instagram since its inception. It has never, in its entire history, been as valuable for an emerging artist, emerging creator, as it is right now in August of 2025. The results that you can potentially get on that platform are absolutely staggering. You know, as a result of Instagram finally having competition in TikTok, as a result of tweaks to the algorithm and continued user growth, it's the best the platform has ever been. It's the easiest to get reach for first-time emergent artists, photographers, creators, all the way up to the seasoned ones and everything in between. And so I read those stats, I read that feedback, and I'm like, what is going on here? And so that kind of informed some of my thought process. Then I went to the hot sheets, what I like call going to the hot sheets. And some of you guys have seen me do this on Instagram before, right? And again, apologies, I was supposed to have this all pulled up, but I'm having to do the searches here in real time. But Instagram is super unique, okay, in that it has, quote unquote, a head of Instagram. My guess is that like Zuckerberg will not allow anyone to be called CEO aside from him. And so this guy, Adam Mosseri, is what is called the head of Instagram. And what's cool about what this guy does, and I really got to tip my hat to him, is he's actually the head of the social media platform, and he is actually super active on the social media platform, and he is constantly answering questions and being super visible and giving people tips and giving people tricks. And where there's a lot of people on Instagram doing that, he's on the inside like no one else is, right? So I've made a habit over the years of going to his profile and just absolutely binging through a bunch of his content, because he essentially is taking what he sees internally that he could never talk to anybody about at Instagram, and he's trying to give it back to us in kind of a friendly way, like, hey, based on what I'm seeing, here's what you need to be doing. So it's like incredibly a valuable activity. And I will throw his handle, which is just, is it at Mosseri? Yeah, it's Mosseri, Adam Mosseri. Okay, I highly recommend that you follow him. One of the things that's been really fun to do is I'll go to his platform, and you kind of have to like listen to what he's saying and then use your brain and sort of like read the tea leaves of all of it, because it's not what he says in these updates. It's like what he really means in the updates, right? So I'm going to play one of his recent updates to help build my argument, and then I will get into the meat of this thing. And my hope in all of this is just to change your thinking about how the platform works, how you need to play things, and ultimately how to start getting noticed way more. Okay, way more. So your Q4 is absolutely the best that it could ever be. So let me just make sure I find the right one. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to play this, and I just want you to hear it for a second.
We're launching 3 new features to help you connect with your friends on Instagram. We want Instagram not only to be a place where we support creativity, but one where you connect with the people that you care about most. Now, those features are reposts, a friend map, and a friends feed in the Reels tab. On reposts, it's been a request for many years now, and the reason why we're doing it now is, at this point, a lot of what you see on Instagram are recommendations from accounts you do not follow, and reposts are a way to make those more social, more friendly. Also, they're a way to give more credit back to the original content creators, because we know people already download and re-upload content on Instagram. The second is a friend map. Now, this is an opt-in experience, but if you want...
Okay, I'm going to shut it off there. And I'll share this post in the show notes too if you want to watch it. But what's interesting about everything that he just said in there, and he goes on, and the whole theme of what he said, I mean, he probably in that whole update used the word friend like 18 times, okay? And so, yes, that update was about announcing these new features and making people aware that there's new features, and that's all well and good, and that's great. But when you parse it and when you truly understand what's going on, you get to the motive of why he's saying such a thing. And why he's saying such a thing, which is going to make my point for me, is his job, his goal, Meta's job, Meta's goal, their desire with Instagram is to make Instagram the number one place to go for friends. They want you on there talking to your friends, messaging your friends, watching things together as friends, spending all the time, locating where your friends are, sharing your intimate content with just circles of your friends, because they know deep down that if it is a place for friends, people are going to spend more time. They're going to be able to show more content. Their daily active users, their monthly active users, their time spent in app, all the metrics that they care about are going to go up, right? But the key takeaway in all of that and everything that they just talked about in that latest, greatest update is friends, 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 okay? Friends, friends, friends. I want to focus on that word for a minute, and I want to ask you a question. If I visited your Instagram profile, are you a friend, air quotes, or are you a business? If I hit your Instagram profile, is the content reflective of somebody I could be friends with, i.e. a human being, or is it just artwork or your creations? If I hit your profile and consume your content, would I get to know who you are as a person? Now, sure, there are some businesses out there, okay, like Buc-ee's, for instance, which is like the cult classic giant gasoline convenience store spread across Texas and a couple other states. People want to be friends with Buc-ee's. They love that, or maybe people want to be friends with a jewelry brand, or, maybe people want to be friends with that business that sells those damn Labubus that all the people like. Saw some Asian guy in the airport. My kids started talking to him, and man, was this guy passionate about these things. Anyway, where am I going with this? Okay. Nobody wants to be friends, okay, with a business. Aside from those little fringe examples aside, people want to be friends with other human beings. Let me give you another analogy. It makes me think back to the all-time classic Good Will Hunting, okay? When Robin Williams' character gets out of his office and he and Matt Damon are sitting on that park bench in front of the river or lake or whatever it is, the Walden Pond moment, right? And Robin Williams delivers that zinger about you're just a scared kid that's never left Boston. You probably know all the skinny on Michelangelo, but you can't tell me what it smells like in the 16th chapel or looked up at that beautiful ceiling, right? And to end it all, Robin Williams hits him with that zinger that says, like, he can't help Matt Damon's character Will, unless Will opens up and shares who he is, what makes him tick, and that Robin Williams, he's fascinated, he wants to hear all that, right? In Will Hunting, Matt Damon's character in that movie, up till that point, was not sharing anything that allowed anybody to get to know him, to form a solid human connection with him. And it is my position, okay, that most artists, photographers, creatives on Instagram are doing the same thing. They're acting like a business. They're hiding behind the canvas. The photog's hiding behind the lens. They're not opening up. They're not showing any vulnerability, let alone any of the things that make them interesting, makes them tick. If you did, everything on Instagram would start to change, okay? And I think back to all of those Reddit posts that I mentioned, right? Bemoaning how Instagram is dead, it no longer works, it's too hard to get likes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I can guarantee you, if their Instagram profiles were in the comments and I could audit them, do you know what I would see? I would, number one, see a smattering of inconsistent posts about their art, nothing about them, and then they quit complaining that there's nothing that they can do on Instagram. Now, some hard truths. Your art is not enough. It's not enough. In most cases, okay, the unicorns aside, it never will be. It will never be enough. Your art alone, getting posted all the time, okay, in whatever capacity, let alone social media, is not enough. It's not enough. And guess what? It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be, okay? It's like somewhere there's just this grand disconnect. It's like you guys are realtors trying to sell a house, and you bring your prospective buyers in and you show them the garage and you show them the kitchen. But you don't show them the master bedroom, the living room, and then the wraparound 180-degree deck with the beautiful ocean views. Like you're trying to sell the house, just showing them the garage and the kitchen. That is not how it works, okay? That is not how it works. And I've said this so many times. Art sales are 50-50. Heck, the more effective ratio might even be 90-10. An argument can be made. And what do I mean? I mean an art sale is 50% of meritocracy on the quality, the creativity, the desirability of the work, of the creations that you are making. And 50%, okay, a reflection of who you are, what makes you tick. Dare I use the F word, whether or not you're a friend. And I don't mean a friend in the sense that you're talking to these people on the phone all the time. You're going to coffee just once a week. Just that they feel like they know you. They know who you are. That the artist is as important part of the brand as the art itself. You are the brand, okay? Just as much as the art is the brand. And that is just the nature of this industry, okay? So if you're hiding in social posts, if you don't give us even a tiny window into your world, then you're no different than Will and Good Will Hunting. I can learn all I need to know about you by reading Oliver Twist, right? Art sales, you guys, are 50-50. Your perspective and future buyers want to do business with people they know, people they like, people they trust, people they have things in common with, people that remind them of someone or something that they love, people that inspire them, people that make them laugh. And I believe sincerely, okay, that person is you, it's me, it's all of us. Now, while a great many of us, especially in this industry, often get hit with the pangs of self-doubt and self-worth, as is all too common in the art world, right? Each and every one of us is a unique human being. A human being that's been shaped by both nature and nurture into an interesting person. You might not be interesting to everyone, and guess what? You don't have to be. You just need to find a tribe. And that is one of the greatest things the internet has ever done, is to connect all these crazy, disparate, spread out, and unique niches, nuances, and interest categories, right? You know, groups and forums and lists and blogs and social sites that you would have never thought had a strong following. Find community online, right? And they're revealed to be huge deals, right? I mean, you pick one of these like esoteric things, and my kid's into the Magic the Gathering cards right now, right? Like pre-internet, Magic the Gatherings would have had a 1-year meetup in Atrium Room B, Ballroom B at the Doubletree in Cincinnati, Ohio, that everyone flew in for 1 year. Okay? Not going to make a big deal. Now, the Magic the Gathering, every single solitary super sci-fi card playing nerd on the planet knows that these people are online. They can all gather together. The cards are selling for a ton of money. The internet has made any and all disparate niche, interest, desire, peccadillo, whatever you want to call it. They've all got tribes now. They've all got followings on the internet. They're flourishing. They all have flourishing communities. Why do I bring this up? I bring this up to say it doesn't matter what your unique, individual, quirky, strange, niche, risque likes, hobbies, peccadillos are. The internet has showed us that no matter what, no matter how fringe, interesting, silly, i.e. all these things that you think that actually make you unique, that you don't think are interesting to subsects of people in this United States, right? And the problem is we don't know what your interests are outside of art. We don't know. We have no ability to bond with it. We have no ability to decide whether or not it's something that we're interested in or we're not interested in, okay? Because you are locking them all down away from view. You are just posting about your art. You're just posting about your process. You are not giving us a window into your world in the slightest, okay? Human beings are wired to make friends with other humans. So stop being one-dimensional. Your art is not enough. Start being a human being we can be friends with, okay? Start being a human being we can be friends with. I've used this analogy a couple of times, but I get good feedback about it online when I do. I have to go to a number of kids' birthday parties. That's the season of life I'm in. I despise and loathe these things. I really do. Inevitably, every time I go, I'm sat there with, a lemonade or God willing, it's an afternoon one and I can have a beer, and I have to meet a bunch of dads, right? I have to meet a bunch of dads, a bunch of other families. That part's kind of fun. I'm making a fuss of it. Whatever. If I met you at that kid's birthday party and I had a conversation with you, would every word out of your mouth just be, I'm an artist? Oh, wonderful. My name's Patrick. What was your name? Greg. Oh, Greg, nice to meet you. So which kid's yours? He's that one, but I'm an artist. Awesome, Greg. So you're an artist. Anything else you're into? Yeah, selling art, creating art, showing you pictures of my process of creating art, coming out, having a sale soon on art, right? That would be extremely weird. That would be very, very strange. And yet what happens when I go to your social media profile, you guys? It's just a conversation. And most of you guys are just going, art. Photography. Creations. Is there a human being in there that does something else? Is there a human being in there with perhaps some different dimensions, some different things going on? Is that even a possibility? And I could potentially end this episode right now, right? The lesson is probably stuck in. Quit being one-dimensional. Your art is not enough. Start being a human being we can be friends with, right? I could potentially end the episode right now, but there's more. So I want to give you some extra encouragement about what will happen to your social media footprint, okay, when you start following this advice. And everything I said above should be enough, yet there is more. So let me help you with some extra encouragement, and then we'll close things out with a clear, actionable, you can start doing this right now, call to action. And so, okay, yes, it should be enough to change up your social media posting based on the fact that art sales are 50-50. Yes, if I hit your IG profile and scrolled a couple of your Facebook or Instagram posts and I didn't learn anything about you, then as a human being, you're failing. Yes, nobody wants to be friends with a business. They want to be friends with human beings. All of that should be enough, but bonus, you are even more incentivized to post non-art related things about who you are as a human being as a result of the all-knowing, all-seeing oracle of the modern age, which is the damn social media algorithm that Instagram, Facebook, the other ones deploy, okay? I go back to referencing all of those Reddit posts. All of those Reddit posts failed and are having such a hard time with Instagram because they don't understand the way the Instagram algorithm works, okay? I talked earlier about all these disparate likes and individual things that you guys do and quirky peccadillos that you have, and some of you are funny and some of you are sarcastic and some of you have these crazy other interests and some of you have a wild dog or whatever the case may be, right? When you post those things, any of those things, okay, the way to think about it, and another analogy because it makes sense in my mind, picture Instagram is like the biggest, widest highway, freeway, motorway anyone's ever seen in the world. Instead of 8 to 10 lanes or 5 to 6 lanes, there's 10 million lanes on it, right? There's 10 million lanes on that freeway. When you just post your art and you just post creating your art, the same thing over and over again, this algorithm looks at what you're posting and it's like, okay, this stuff goes in this lane because I know people in this lane like this kind of stuff. And that's it. Everything you post, and sure, there might be some slight variance. You're a landscape photographer, and one day it's trees, and another day it's water. Okay, so you might get a couple of lanes. But it's just a couple of lanes. That's it. And you just keep posting and posting and posting and posting and posting. All in the same lane, all in the same lane, all in the same lane. So the algorithm knows what those lanes are, and it goes and shows that content to people that know that like that stuff. You're missing 99.9999999% of the freeway that is filled with people because you are staying in your lane. Okay? When you start posting the other stuff, Are you a dog person? Are you a cat person? Do you like gardening? Do you like drinking? Are you a teetotaler? Are you into yerba mate? Or maybe you like green tea? Or maybe you drink coffee? Or maybe you like to bake? Or maybe you like cooking? You're a barbecue person. You smoke meats. You're into needlepoint. Okay, you like reading romance novels. You go and see opera. You're into folk music. Whatever the it is that you're interested in, and all of us have all of these various different interests. If you throw up the flag, put out the post that says, hey, here is this other thing that I'm interested in, the algorithm on these social platforms knows instantaneously what it is because it is all seeing, all knowing, and all powerful, the oracle of the modern age. And then it goes and puts your post on a different lane in that crazy freeway. Okay? Each one is a different lane, has a different audience, a different perspective, a different set of eyeballs. And the more you start giving people this little window into your world and who you are and what makes you tick, not only does it make you less a business and more a human, not only does it make you easier to find something in common with and potentially develop a friendship, which will lead to business, but it also expands your footprint on the social media platforms, because the algorithm will look what you've created and go and put you in another box. So you've got interesting things, you've got funny things, you've got quirky things, you've got a strange talent, whatever it is, okay? Start posting it now. What happens is not only do you drastically expand your reach, okay, but you attract people. And you attract people for the reason, not necessarily that you're an artist, okay? But that they have something in common. They thought you were funny. They thought that was interesting. They want to find out more. And what do they find out as a result? They also find out you're an artist. And then they're clear to peruse your art-related content at their leisure, at their pace, without it just being about that. It brings a wider swath of society out of the social media platforms to your profile, looking at your posts, subscribing, liking, commenting, sending DMs, all of it, okay? You cannot be one-dimensional on a social media platform and think you are going to succeed. It is not going to happen. The masks are not good. Your art is not enough. You need to start giving us a little window into who you are, what makes you interesting, what makes you tick. And some of these things, that in combination, create this artistic way that you view the world that speaks to how you create these artistic and creative things. Once you start doing this, everything in your Instagram profile will change. Everything in terms of your engagement will change. You will start getting more messages. You will start getting more followers. And quite frankly, people will start fostering deeper and more meaningful connections with who you are, because you're actually a human being, not an artist. I'm an artist by my art. Look at my process. Artist. It's not enough, you guys. It's not enough. Why does everyone that goes onto Instagram and complain about the algorithm and only post their art fail? It's easy to see, isn't it? If you were a realtor and you were showing me the house and trying to sell it, you wouldn't show me the garage and the kitchen and then kick my ass out of the house, would you? You would show me the entire thing and all the amazing things and all the amazing rooms and the space in the backyard. So why are you treating your social media platform like only showing me the garage and the realtor example? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I promise some tactical, okay? Here is some tactical. This is a very, very easy way to approach this. It is a very, very easy way to think about it, okay? It is a framework you can start using today, and it is a framework if you employ regularly, consistently, weekly, starting today, August 20th, all the way through September, October, November. I am confident it will lead to a more meaningful Q4 holiday buying season for you. So yeah, I want all of you guys to do it, okay? And guess what? Even for the ones that are already doing this, are you doing it enough? Probably not. Probably not. Like, art sales are 50-50, yes. Like I said earlier in the episode, I mean, you could legitimately make an argument that you could probably go 60-40, 60% who you are, 40% the art, maybe even 70-30. So there's no magical number. It's just something to play with. What is the call to action? When you go to post something on Instagram, okay, we'll stay focused on Instagram for now, although it applies to the others. Ask yourself, what is something that I can post that has absolutely nothing to do with my art, my identity as an artist, or the fact that I'm creating art I'm trying to sell? What is something that I can post today that has nothing to do with the fact that I'm an artist and have an art business? Ask yourself that. Make a list. Start contemplating some of these things. You don't need to follow yourself around with a camera crew. I don't need to know all the dirty, messy details of your life. We all have dirty, messy lives. We're all human beings. That's okay. I just need something that I can glom onto. Pets, hobbies, passions. You take your pick. What is something that I can post that has nothing to do with the fact that I'm an artist, my art business? If you start doing that, okay, you start even just simply once a week, okay, you're already going to start getting the results after you do this. Then you're going to do 2 or 3 days a week. Then 3 weeks, a month from now, you're going to hand your phone to a stranger. You're going to have your Instagram profile on it. And you're going to hand it to him and say, will you just do me a solid favor? What can you learn about me from looking at this profile on Instagram? Check out a couple of posts. Just what can you learn about me? If they mention something other than art, you've won. You've won. Because then you're a human being. You're a human being first that someone can be friends with. You're not just an artist. What is something I can post this week that has nothing to do with my art? If you guys all start doing this more, you are going to have a more bountiful Q4. More content on Q4 coming. Appreciate all of your attention. Instagram is the spot right now. It's not changing. Get posting. Appreciate y'all, and have a great rest of your day.